On this DVD, we're going to learn to defend ourselves against different submissions that we can face. Attacking is much easier than defending. Defense is much more important than the attacking. There is nothing more effective than learning how to defend oneself. Everything we do in fights and in self-defense is directed toward that, being able to defend ourselves from an attack. You already know me. I'm Francisco Mansur, and he is my assistant, Greg. Today we are here to show you defenses against attacks. What are these defenses? All human action is action and reaction. Everything stems from that base, action and reaction. Isaac Newton spoke about this principle, action-reaction. We need to change our reaction with respect to the action. We have to have a wider vision of our reactions. You have to begin to train the defenses that I'm going to show you. We have to train a lot so that we can employ the unconscious in the action of our defenses. Defense is nothing more than a reflexive act of the unconscious. It isn't necessary to wait to be hit to begin to react. We have to prepare ourselves with our partner. When he is preparing his attack, we have to be preparing our defense. We have to act intelligently, not like a bull attacks a bullfighter. The bull only has one way of attacking, the action, and the bullfighter, thanks to his intelligence and to the technique, dodges the bull. In more than 90% of the cases, the one who wins is the bullfighter, not the bull. Beginning from this principle, we have to adapt our defenses to the attacks. Today we are going to do that with many positions, with chokes, arm locks, foot locks, ties, with various attacks from which you have to learn to defend yourselves. You have to pay close attention to this DVD and train a lot. Choose a partner and train a lot in order to make all of this a reflexive act. Because, for example, our natural reaction to a pull on the arm will be to pull it back toward us. And if someone pushes, to maintain pressure to avoid being pushed. That is the natural reaction of the human being. But now you have to get accustomed to utilizing the opponent's force. When he begins to apply it, don't offer resistance. Rather, accompany his movement and escape from the positions in which he is going to attack you. I hope that you can learn this easily, because it isn't very easy. But following my advice, I'm sure you'll get it. We're going to begin our defenses with a standing attack. It is common in a fight with standing fighters that the adversary wants to choke you. If he gets to grab hold of you and you try to free yourself by force, you won't be able to, and you will lose a lot of energy in this action. What we have to do is to defend ourselves using the adversary's force. We're going to see it. He chokes me and pulls me toward him to choke me. The first thing I do is to grab his arm here. In the exact moment that he pulls me, I grab his arm here. My other hand goes to the center of his back, and I do this movement like this. Now I turn with my hips like this, grabbing his arm here. His arm is already immobilized. From here, I can unbalance him and take him to the ground, twisting his arm in this position. We're going to repeat it. He tries a choke, and I, instead of going backwards, go forward. I grab his arm here. I go to his back and put my hips in and pull him easily to the ground. We're going to repeat this, pulling him to the ground, so you can see it. I've already controlled his arm here. And he can't avoid this because I am forcing the arm joint. Notice, If he has come and pulled toward himself, I'm not concerned about pulling him. I only come and grab his arm here. I'm going to hold here so that he can't escape. He's going to try to escape like this. And I enter like this. This would be one of the defenses that you can use in the action of the choke in standing position. The choke in the front standing position is very dangerous for the one who is applying it. One has to be very careful. I'm going to try to do the movement so that you can see it, and you have to try to imitate my movements when you do it. But you must be very careful when training, because it has already happened to me a couple of times participating in competitions, since it is easy to injure the arm of the person who is attacking. My intention wasn't bad, of course. I only wanted to defend myself. Now he is going to attack, and I am going to act in the same way that you already know, which is the defense that I explained previously. You have noted that his arm joint has been very forced. The reason why he has been thrown to the ground. I come out in arm lock, and his arms are trapped in such a way that he can't even strike the mat, because his arms are trapped. I believe you have understood the mechanics. This defense has risks, so when you train it, train slowly. We continue with the standing position. The adversary is going to do a tie, a front tie. Notice the movement. When he comes to grab your neck, you grab his wrist like this, in this position, here. Look, your hand enters here, on his wrist, toward this side, avoiding his applying the tie. After, you put the hand on his wrist. Now he can't choke you. As soon as he begins to squeeze, you grab hold of his wrist. This is your first move. Second move, you are going to put this arm from here on the middle of his back. Do you see? All the force of his tie is on this side. When he pulls you upward, if I grab here, there is no longer the pressure that he was going to exercise on my neck. Notice, he pulls and I put my elbow in his groin, like this. At the moment in which I put my elbow in here, he can apply all the force he wants, but he no longer has me trapped in the tie. There is absolutely no danger from him if I grab here and here. Understood? You have done the defense in this position. You have grabbed his back. Good. He applied force to lift you. At that moment in which he lowers you, you let go of this hand here and your arm enters between his legs. It is not here, in front. It is at the end. And you are going to lift him in the air in order to take him down. I'm going to do this slowly so you can see it. I take him to the ground. When he sees that he's lifted and is going to be taken down, he's going to try to protect himself from the fall and will let go of the grip on my neck. In the case that he doesn't let go, we'll see what has to be done. I'm going to do now a position where he doesn't loosen the grip on my neck, and we'll see what you have to do to free yourself. Notice, I block his leg, mount, grab his neck forward, and with my shoulder, I put pressure on his neck. With this position, he is going to be forced to let go of my neck. As you've seen, I forced him to open his arm, pushing with my elbow here on his neck and pushing his head that way. But we're going to imagine that he is a very strong man, a fighter much stronger than you, and he is your adversary. He has trapped your neck and doesn't want to let go, even grabbing his wrist here and my shoulder on his neck. What can you do? Your arm that is behind his is going to come out forward, is going to grab the lapel of his kimono like this. You are going to exercise pressure from above downward on his neck, like a choke, despite your head being trapped here. When the pressure is very strong here, he's going to let you go. Observe. As you can see, one can act in two different ways in the defense against the tie. In the first case, you have utilized the shoulder. In the second case, you have utilized the hand, choking him. Very good. Now we're going to imagine another tie attack. This time, you have had time to trap him before he had time to lift you from the ground, before he can totally close the tie to lift you. You are going to act exactly. Before, we saw how to apply the arm lock in getting out of the kimura. Now, I'm going to show you the defense against the arm lock. The arm lock in the guard. How do you defend against it? Let's see. I am in Greg's guard, and he has trapped me with an arm lock. Do you remember what I said before? The normal reaction of everyone is that when the adversary fits in the arm lock, one gets up and wants to pull the arm like this. If you do that, they're going to submit you very easily. You don't have to get up or act against him. I said this at the beginning of the program. The automatic reaction of the human being is to react against the position that he is doing. But what has to be done is to use this force. He has fit in the arm lock. You hold the lapel of his kimono and throw all your weight on him. Observe. Your hand turns and grabs hold of your wrist. If you don't grab your wrist, he's going to force you to give up. But if you grab hold of your wrist, he can stretch a lot, but you resist here. Squeeze, squeeze. While he moves like this, it gives you time to do a series of movements to block his stretching movement. And what can I do? I have some seconds available before his movement injures my arm. I have trapped the lapel. I grab my wrist and lift him. Observe my leg, here, underneath his back. He no longer has the possibility of moving. I put my weight on him. My arm is going to come out on this side. When my arm comes out, I place my hand on his gluteus. I push him that way and pass the guard from this side. Why do I pass to that side? Because if I pass to that other side of his guard, when I take my arm out like this and I want to pass, I need to take out this other arm, and he has time to escape with the other arm and attack me. Then, let's see. We're going to turn so that you can see it well. When I have loosened my arm, I go on to control him, like this. And I'm going to go out here, like this, having passed his guard. I'm going to go out without risk of a second arm lock. In this defense position, I'm going to explain another interesting thing. He is going to do the arm lock again. I grab hold here. Now notice, when I lift him like this, my elbow enters on his back, here. He is being choked. And the more I turn him that way, the more my elbow squeezes, and he has to give up in this position of choke. Did you notice? Logically, a real adversary is not going to make it so easy for us the way Greg has done. But now we're going to do it the way you would really see it. He's going to hold a real arm lock. I'm going to pull with force for the defense and pull with force for the choke. Let's see it. Look. I control. As I've already explained at the beginning, you can't wait until the position is totally fit in to try the defense. Now, for example, I'm going to do a demonstration of how to defend against an arm lock done from the mount. I'm going to explain two defenses in that position and one defense that is a complement of the other defense. Greg is going to mount me and is going to do an arm lock. When he does the arm lock, my defense is going to be easy. Notice. Where is the effectiveness of the arm lock? In the leg that passes over my head. Like this. This leg here is what will allow Greg to stretch my arm, and I don't manage to get up from the ground, right? Then what must I do? I have to control his leg. At the exact moment in which he is passing his leg, I take his leg out like this, with the hand. I quickly grab my other hand and place myself on top, in this position. This would be the first defense. We're going to do this again so that you can see the movement in a more advanced position. You have noted that I was expecting the arm lock. You have noted that my hand has gone toward his leg before he begins his movement. Do you understand now what I mean by acting from reflex? If you know that the adversary is going to do an arm lock, your automatic reaction is to hold his arm